Ever since I was little, my mom taught me, date someone beautiful, marry someone rich. So, when I turned 27, and my family started pressuring me to marry, I decisively dumped the girlfriend I'd spent 3 years fawning over, and went home for blind dates. Ningbing is so gorgeous, and you like her so much. Can you really let her go? Why couldn't I? I'm not an idiot. She's fine for a fling, but marrying her would make me miserable for life. But then, a familiar voice suddenly came from beside me. So, this is why you dumped me. That night, when I dragged my luggage home, I ran into a guy walking out the door. I recognized him. He was the bassist in Ningbing's band. Instinctively, I stopped by the back door in the hall, instead of going in. Sure enough, seconds later, just as I'd expected, Ningbing walked out behind him. Then she casually leaned against the wall. A moment later, she tossed him a gift box. Here. His eyes lit up. He took it, immediately turned around, and hugged Ningbing. Oh my God. I've wanted this forever. Where did you get it? I love it so much. Thanks, babe. I picked it up when I went to Hong Kong last time. Ningbing frowned. All right, get going. You're so cold-hearted. You were just calling me babe, and now you're kicking me out just like that. I waited until he was far away before stepping out. Ningbing clearly hadn't expected me home so suddenly. The instant she saw me, she froze for a moment, but seconds later, she was back to normal. Why didn't you tell me you were coming back? I could have come pick you up. It was too late. I was afraid calling would disturb your sleep. As she spoke, she linked her arm through mine, as if nothing had happened, and led me inside. Once inside, she acted as she always did, and sat on the couch. I'm hungry. Make me something. I didn't answer, nor did I move. Seeing that, Ningbing frowned. What's wrong? Then, she seemed to think of something, and a smile appeared on her face. Do you miss me that much? With that, she stood and came over to me, then wrapped her arms around me. I could feel her hand sliding over my stomach. Then I'll have you first, and dinner after. But before she could finish, I pulled her away. Ningbing was rarely rejected by me. Her face darkened at once. What's wrong? I looked down at the clothes on the floor, following my gaze. Ningbing saw them too. Yet, she merely clicked her tongue. TCH. His lease ended. He had nowhere to stay, so I let him sleep here for one night. Nothing happened between us. That excuse was pathetic. I couldn't even be bothered to hear it. This wasn't the first time Ningbing had brought a man home. Maybe she was born incapable of being faithful. Ever since I first met her, she'd always been this way. Back then, a friend took me to see a band perform. I wasn't interested at all, until Ningbing appeared. She was dressed more plainly than anyone else. Yet the instant she stepped on stage, she drew every eye in the room. She seemed to notice me staring, and turned to look at me. And so, our eyes met. After the show, I joined a crowd of people to ask for her contact information. Ningbing gave it to anyone who asked, but a year later, everyone else had given up. Only I kept at it. That was how I became her boyfriend. But I knew Ningbing had never truly liked me. Or maybe she only liked how considerate I was, how I never held anything against her. The only reason we hadn't broken up all these years was because I alone refused to let go. You promised me you wouldn't do this again. I was joking, and you actually believed me. As she said that, a faint smile touched her lips as she leaned closer. If you can't take it, then break up with me. I'd heard that countless times. In the end, I was always the one holding her, begging her not to leave. So, I changed the subject. I'm tired. I'm going to get some rest. Just as I was about to leave, Ningbing suddenly grabbed my wrist. Fang, Yuan. That's enough. Keep making a scene, and it won't be fun anymore. I ignored her, shook free of her grip, opened the door, and went inside. Then I lay down on the bed. Not long after, a door slammed outside. Ningbing had left. After all, I had always been the one to comfort her before. I'd never once given her the cold shoulder. With that thought, I turned over and picked up my phone. My mom had tagged me in a message in the family group chat. Mom has never pressured you before, but you're already 27 this year. Isn't it about time you started thinking about marriage? My colleague's daughter is a good match. I've seen her, and she's quite pretty. Why don't you come home and meet her during this vacation? There was also a message from my boss. Fang, the The branch office is short-staffed right now. With your abilities, staying on as an assistant department manager is beneath you. Would you be interested in managing the branch office? Building up the business will definitely be difficult at first. Think it over carefully. Seeing those messages, I sighed. Truthfully, I really did like Ningbing. She was beautiful, with a great body. Most importantly, she was a total player. Being with her meant I never had to think about commitment or worry about our future together. When I first started working, I planned to find someone to blow off steam with. But after looking around, no one felt right. Not until I met Ningbing. She spent her best years with me. But I also knew she wasn't someone I should marry. Now, I knew it was time to make a choice. Ningbing didn't come home that night. Over the next few days, she ignored every message and call from me. There had been times like this before, but this time, I was busy handing over my work and had no time to placate her. That evening, I was busy booking a flight home. Just then, my phone suddenly rang. It was one of Ningbing's friends, Brother Fang. Ningbing has had too much to drink. Come pick her up. Ningbing loved parties and had no ambition whatsoever. Her family was wealthy. The band was only a hobby. In that regard, we had nothing in common. Whenever I landed a project at work or got promoted and told her about it, she always seemed uninterested. I knew we were fundamentally different people. Maybe that was for the best. When we parted ways, neither of us would be too heartbroken. Thinking that, I told the caller, okay? At the bar, Ningbing was surrounded by a crowd. They were all very young. Seeing that, I touched my own face, remembering what she'd once said dismissively. You're already 27. You still need to dress yourself up. Can you please put some effort into your appearance? Standing outside the crowd, I said nothing. Ningbing acted as if she hadn't seen me. Ningbing, have another drink. Ningbing smiled. Drinking like this is no fun. Why don't you feed me? How should I feed you? And so, the two of them kissed right in front of me. I knew she was doing it on purpose, because I had given her the cold shoulder that day, and hadn't placated her afterward. Thinking that, I walked over. Ningbing looked up at me. Her expression didn't change. What are you doing here? Ningbing, you've gone too far. Too far. You can break up with me. No one's stopping you? I didn't say a word. I only looked at her. I'd lost count of how many times she threatened me with a breakup. 50 times. Or 100. Seeing this, one of the younger guys nearby couldn't stand it anymore. Sister Liu, don't be mad at your boyfriend anymore. Look, he's about to cry. In fact, tears really did roll down my face. If I was putting on an act, I had to commit to it. I guess Ningbing saw them too. But after her expression shifted several times, she put on a cold look again. The next second, I looked at her and nodded. Fine. Ningbing. Then let's break up. Ningbing's face instantly turned ugly. You've got some nerve, Fang Yuan. Fine. But I never go back to an old flame. Just don't come begging me like a dog later. At that, I gave a quiet hum. Then I pulled out a tissue and wiped the corners of my eyes. After that, I turned and left. I never looked back. Ningbing didn't come home that night. That same night, I deleted everything connected to her. I even replaced my SIM card. After packing my bags, early the next morning, I took the first flight back to my hometown. I never contacted Ningbing again. After crafting the image of a heartbroken man on social media, I decisively put her out of my mind. After returning home, I quickly settled into my new company. I also met the woman from my blind date. Naturally, the date went nowhere. After being with someone like Ningbing, my standards had risen too. I kept thinking that until a meeting at work. Everyone had arrived early. They sat silently around the conference table. I quietly asked the vice president beside me, "What's going on?" "Something big is happening. The old chairman's daughter has been parachuted in. I heard she'll use our branch to get some experience first, then take over the whole group." I heard Ms. Shang went to Harvard. After graduating, she spent several years at Goldman Sachs. Then she went into finance on her own. She made over $1 billion yuan overnight. If the old chairman hadn't spent years pressuring and persuading her, she never would have come back. She's ruthless. Watch what you say around her. Before long, a young woman in a business suit walked in. I looked up, like everyone else, and sized her up. The next second, she spoke. "Sorry, my flight was delayed. I'm late." Then she took the seat at the head of the table. and got straight to the point. My name is Shang Xinci. From now on, I am this company's general manager. I've already reviewed the company's basic information and financial reports, starting with the vice president. Each of you will report your achievements from the past year, as well as the work currently on your desk. Give me a basic briefing. And so, each department head stood to report. Ms. Shang called out every attempt to deceive her. I don't like vague answers. And I don't like being fooled. I hope we can communicate properly. But if communication doesn't work, I will consider other methods. When it was my turn, I was a little nervous too. Luckily, I was well prepared. As I continued, I grew more fluent. Ms. Shang didn't interrupt me. I even saw a trace of approval on her face. A moment later, I stopped, signaling that I was finished. Then Ms. Shang nodded at me. Fang Yuan, right? Not bad. Use this standard for all future reports. Since Ms. Shang arrived, everyone got busier. The overtime hours grew longer and longer, but our salaries rose as well. The younger male employees were all interested in Ms. Shang. The new hires seemed to have lost their minds. One openly argued with her in a meeting. The other spilled coffee on her 30,000 Yuan outfit. The first was fired the next day. The second was fired that same day. After that, everyone behaved themselves. Still, during breaks, they gathered in the break room to gossip about her. I heard she's never had a boyfriend. Could she really have been single her whole life? No way. You've watched too many dramas. With her looks and status, do you think she's like you? How could she have never dated anyone? Listening nearby, I suddenly became interested. Now that Ningbing was out of the picture, Shang Xinci seemed like an even better choice. This woman, I wanted to try my luck with her. So, I began making sure Shang Xinci saw me regularly. She came to work half an hour early every day. 3 days a week, I would catch the elevator with her. At those times, we were usually the only two in it. But I never spoke. I only greeted her, then pressed the elevator button for her, and stood quietly to one side. Without fail, every day at noon, I got myself a coffee. Around that time, Shang Xinci usually came for coffee too. Every time, I left before she finished pouring hers, while making sure she saw me. When I worked late, she would pass my desk on her way out. In short, I appeared before her as often as possible, but never said a word more than necessary. Finally, the 17th time she saw me working late, she paused, then walked over to me. I've been seeing you work late a lot recently. Are you having some trouble? I looked up, pretending to be surprised. After hesitating for a moment, I handed her the documents in my hand. I've recently taken over a new project. This company has some assets whose risks I can't assess with confidence, so I have to study them more closely. Then, Shang Xinci naturally sat down at the desk beside mine. Let me see. I think this project is viable. Look at this company's 2026 financial statements. Their financial position is fairly solid. Besides, as she explained, I nodded along, occasionally raising highly technical questions. After she answered each one, I put on an enlightened expression. I see. Thank you, Ms. Shang. I'd never considered it from that angle before. Your professional skills are already strong. You just lack some work experience. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Go home early. As she spoke, she even made a rare joke. Don't let people think I'm some heartless slave driver, forcing my staff to work overtime every day. Hearing that, I smiled and nodded. Then I packed up the documents and went downstairs with her. As we left the building, I hesitantly stepped back. Shang Xinci had been about to leave, but when she saw what I did, she turned and asked, "What's wrong?" "It's nothing, Miss Shang. You go on ahead. I just remembered I have something to take care of." She didn't ask further. She nodded and left. 5 minutes later, her car drove out of the underground garage. I was still standing at the company entrance. When she saw me, Shang Xinci rolled down her window. "Didn't you drive?" "That's right. It's raining, so it's hard to get a cab." "It's fine, Miss Shang. If I wait a little longer, one should come by." "Get in. I'll give you a ride." On the drive home, I talked quite a bit. Then, Xinci was surprised to discover how much we had in common. Even an obscure film I liked was her favorite too. So, she gradually became more talkative. We had even reached my front door. She didn't hit the brakes and drove right past it. I was just about to remind her when Shang Xinci noticed first. "Sorry, I wasn't watching the navigation." After the car stopped, I thanked her again for driving me home. Shang Xinci nodded. Then, Her lips parted slightly. She seemed to want to say something, but swallowed the words. I noticed her hesitation. What's wrong, Miss Shang? What cologne are you wearing? It smells nice. The moment she said it, she realized something. Regret flashed across her face. The next second, she lowered her head and fell silent. Seeing that, I found it rather amusing. My men's cologne had finally done its job. Still, I honestly told her its name. Then I waved goodbye to her. Well then, Miss Shang. See you tomorrow. Back in my room, I stood by the window and watched Xinci's car drive away. After that, I picked up a notebook from the table beside me. It was filled with notes I had made. They were all about Xinci's preferences. There was very little information about her. It took a lot of effort to find the social media account she had used in school. After carefully combing through it, I finally learned all these details. Even that obscure movie I had only watched last night. It couldn't be helped. To win over an elite like her, I really had to put in extra effort. I had even gone so far as to set up an opportunity like this. I had not driven to work in ages. Luckily, today's forecast had been accurate. It really did bring me the rain I needed. Looking at the notebook, the corner of my mouth curled up. Just as I laid down to rest, suddenly, my phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. But when I answered, a familiar voice came through. You left a lot of your things at my place. Come get them. Otherwise, I'll throw them all out. When I left by Ningbing, I had indeed left quite a few odds and ends behind, but I had no use for any of them anymore. I thought she'd simply throw them away. I hadn't expected her to call and tell me. Thinking that, I flipped through my notebook on how to win over Xinci and gave her a careless reply. Then throw it all out. I don't want any of it. I could tell. Ningbing wasn't happy with what I said. She was silent for a long while, then hung up. She had always been like this. She always needed someone to soothe her, but I was no longer obligated to indulge her. So, I blocked the number. Then I put the matter out of my mind. The next day, I got off work early for once. I went to a bar with a friend. After a few rounds of drinks, we were both a little drunk. My friend narrowed his eyes and asked me, You used to like Ningbing so much. Now, you've suddenly cut things off. Can you really let her go? Before this, my friends had always been frustrated with me. They thought I was too much of a doormat for Ningbing, that I had no self-respect. But I didn't see anything wrong with it. Since I was the one pursuing her, wasn't I supposed to put in some effort? Besides, whether I chose to fawn over her was up to me. How does that make me pathetic? Thinking that, I set down my glass. A woman like her is only good for dating. I'm not an idiot. Having some fun while you're young is one thing. But if I married her, she'd make my life miserable forever. Hearing that, my friend gave me a thumbs up. Impressive. You're the wiser one. You're right to see it that way. A woman like Ningbing, you got to enjoy her at her prettiest. Turns out you were on a whole different level. But the next second, he suddenly fell silent. He stared behind me in terror. Fang, have I had so much to drink that I'm hallucinating? My friend looked so terrified that in an instant, I sobered up. So, this is why you dumped me. Following the voice, I turned stiffly round. Ningbing was leaning against the wall, watching me coldly. The next moment, my disloyal friend slipped away, leaving me there alone. Ningbing dragged me into an empty hallway. She stared at me for so long that I seriously suspected she was about to lose it and hit me. So, I spoke first. What are you doing here? You didn't come here just to find me, did you? Fang Yuan. No mirror at home. Go look at your reflection in the toilet. I'm here performing with my band. But if I hadn't run into you, I never knew I'd been letting you have me for free all these years. I was only joking with my friend. You know, you hurt me too deeply. I have my pride too. At that, I turned away, unwilling to look at Ningbing again. But she forcefully turned my face back with both hands. Fang Yuan, have you been treating me like an idiot all along? Yes, I answered silently to myself. Then I wrenched my chin out of her grip. I tried to remain calm. Ningbing, whatever else happened, these past few years, I have given you my all. Search your conscience and tell me, how did I treat you? I never wronged you. If anything, you've been the one wronging me. Even if I did use you, it wasn't free for me either. Doesn't my youth count too? Since we've come this far, let's part on good terms. After all, at that point, I paused. I just couldn't bring myself to say we had loved each other. So, I put it another way. We were together once, at least. Bai Ningbing looked at me for a long time. Just when I thought she was about to get angry again, she suddenly laughed. Fang Yuan, you really think highly of yourself. Of course we'll part on good terms. Did you think I'd keep clinging to you? But remember this. You didn't dump me. Bai Ningbing, dumped you. With that, she turned and walked away. I watched her retreating figure and sighed silently. Bai Ningbing had indeed never been dumped before. Being dumped by me must have really stung. But if thinking that way made her feel better, I didn't mind. I kept up my usual overtime schedule. While Xinci left later each day, sometimes she'd give me a ride. We'd talk about company projects and catch up on what we'd been doing lately. I complained to her about people at our partner companies. Sometimes she'd agree with me too. Yeah, I think that person is seriously messed up too. Then we'd laugh together. As time passed, I could feel her growing more fond of me. So, I decided to make a bold move. The next day, I went to ask her for time off. When she asked why, I deliberately hesitated before answering. There's something going on at home. Ordinarily, she should not have pressed further. But Xinci frowned. Did something happen to your family? Is there anything I can do to help? I smiled awkwardly. No. My mom is forcing me to go home for a blind date. At that, Xinci froze. I rarely saw that expression on her face. I added, I'm 27 now. My family has been pushing hard. I turned them down before, but I can't skip this one. After a long silence, Xinci lowered her head. Fine, but you know the company has been busy lately. I can only grant you time off. As she spoke, she theatrically checked her watch. 2 hours. That should be enough for a blind date. All right, you have 1 hour and 59 minutes left. I hadn't lied to Xinci. I really was going on a blind date. Nothing had worked out lately, and my mom was worried sick. This time, my date was actually quite a catch. That got my interest. So, I ended up talking with her a little longer. Partway through, my date went to the restroom. I sat there, looking down at my phone. Suddenly, someone sat down across from me. I looked up. I was about to speak, but stopped. The person sitting before me was none other than Bai Ningbing. She toyed with the car keys my date had left on the table and sneered. You broke up with me just to come back and go on a blind date with this trash. Weren't you here to perform with your band? Why haven't you left yet? The band's schedule changed. Do you think I want to stay in this godforsaken place? I hope you'll respect my date. She's a good person. Please leave now. Don't disrupt my blind date. The moment I finished speaking, Bai Ningbing's face darkened. The smile vanished from her lips. When my date returned, she saw the scene before her and was completely stunned. Excuse me, who are you? Bai Ningbing did not even look at her. I'm his girlfriend. If you know what's good for you, get lost. She isn't. Before I could explain, Bai Ningbing stood up and grabbed my wrist. What? Do we have to kiss right here before you'll believe me? As she spoke, she leaned toward my face. Frightened, I hurriedly backed away and struggled free. After I broke free and turned around, I saw my date had already stormed off, furious. Seeing that, I got angry too. Bai Ningbing, what the hell is wrong with you? We already broke up. But Bai Ningbing did not take it seriously at all. She leaned back on the sofa, a smile still on her lips. You broke up with me unilaterally. I never agreed to it. Dating isn't marriage. Why does it need both people to agree? Besides, you promised before. You said you'd never take back an ex. I changed my mind. I think you're actually pretty caring. You waited on me so well when we were together. I don't want to break up anymore. At that, I tugged at the corner of my mouth, speechless. But I'm not happy. I gave you my best years. What do you have to be unhappy about? She was speaking too loudly. For a moment, everyone around us turned to look. I quickly leaned forward to cover her mouth. Shut up. Bai Ningbing seized the chance to grab my hand. Then she gave me a sly smile. Since leaving me, you haven't met any decent dates either, have you? Fang Yuan? You know it yourself. I'm the best woman you could ever hope to find. Rather than be with those losers, we might as well. Halfway through, her words abruptly stopped. Another hand had pulled me away. I looked up. It was Xinci. She did not look pleased. She frowned at me. Didn't you say you came here for a blind date? Why are you getting physical? And just like that, I looked at everyone there and was completely dumbfounded. My plan had been to make Xinci jealous, but Xinci had not shown up earlier. Bai Ningbing had appeared instead, And while Bai Ningbing was acting like she'd lost her mind, Shang Xinci showed up too. A few seconds later, Bai Ningbing rose to her feet, clearly annoyed. I'm his girlfriend. Who are you? Why are you sticking your nose into this? I'm Fang Yuan's boss. And as far as I know, Fang Yuan doesn't have a girlfriend. As she spoke, Bai Ningbing turned to look at me, wearing a half smile. Does he have to report whether he has a girlfriend to you? Oh, no wonder you broke up with me so decisively. She's the new woman you've set your sights on, isn't she? Fang Yuan, does she know what a despicable person you are? Are you planning to use the same tricks you used on me on her too? Even though I was usually level-headed, I was furious by then. Just as I was about to argue with her, Shang Xinci spoke up. So, you're the ex he dumped. If Fang Yuan dumped you, that means he doesn't like you. Clinging to him won't change that. Hearing that, Bai Ningbing's face instantly darkened. Then Shang Xinci looked at me. Your time off is over. There's a meeting waiting for you at the office. Let's go. I don't know what your problem is, but, Bai Ningbing, what have I ever owed you in all our years together? We got together because we both wanted to. I never forced you. I'll say it again. I hope we can part on good terms. Please don't come bother me again. Bai Ningbing wanted to say something else, but after hearing me, she fell silent for a moment. In the end, she said nothing more. Shang Xinci grabbed my wrist and led me outside. Once we got into the car, Shang Xinci rested both arms on the steering wheel, then asked me, was that really your ex-girlfriend? Didn't you say we had to go back for a meeting? I rubbed my face, then gave a bitter laugh. Yes, we were together for 3 years. I used to love her, but she cheated on me again and again. I just couldn't take it anymore. I even came back home this time because we broke up. I was deeply hurt. These past few days with you. As I spoke, I glanced at Shang Xinci's expression. I had been starting to feel much better, but I never expected her to come back and harass me again. She doesn't deserve you. Don't go soft on her. Cheating is never just once. It happens once or 100 times. Her betrayal proves she can't overcome her animal instincts. She clearly hasn't evolved enough. She has no self-control whatsoever, and she doesn't love you enough. You should find someone who takes responsibility for their actions. Hearing that, the corners of my mouth curled up. I quickly forced them back down. I said, feigning heartbreak, but there are so few good women like you. Where am I supposed to find one? The tips of Shang Xinci's ears turned red at my words. She cleared her throat. Well, I suppose I'm the only one good enough for you. 3 days later, while I was drinking at a bar, Shang Xinci sent me a message. When are you coming back to work? That day, after she said something that was practically a confession, I was genuinely stunned. I hadn't expected her to be so direct, but I didn't say anything. After all, I was serious about Shang Xinci. After getting to know her these past few days, she truly met my standards in every way. But we couldn't just drift into a relationship, not like I had with Bai Ningbing. Conveniently, using my heartbreak as an excuse, I took annual leave and went out with friends to relax. I watched the figures moving across the dance floor, not even noticing when the music stopped. A moment later, a guitar began playing again. When I heard the singing, I froze. My eyes widened as I looked toward the stage. Bai Ningbing sat on stage, idly fiddling with a guitar pick. In an instant, it felt as if everything else vanished. All I could see were her eyes. It was as though I had returned to the day we first met, except this time, I wasn't the one walking toward her. Bai Ningbing held her guitar in one hand and slowly walked down from the stage. Then she smiled at me. Add me on WeChat. The whole bar erupted in cheers, but I looked at her with mixed feelings. Why go this far? It wasn't false modesty. I could tell Bai Ningbing really did like me, but how much of those feelings were because she liked me for who I was? Or was it simply because when we were together, I cared for her in every possible way and never argued with her over her cheating, and she liked me for being so understanding? I thought, perhaps everything she was doing now was because, deep down, she had always seen me as the weaker one. She believed she had complete control over our relationship. Now, she had been dumped by a pathetic simp like me, and she simply couldn't accept it. The crowd slowly dispersed. Bai Ningbing waved toward the stage. Then, amid the music, sat down beside me. Then she leaned against the booth's backrest and sighed. What you said that day. I thought about it after I got home. And you're right. All these years together, you've never wronged me. You've done so much for me. I've been the one hurting you. I understand why you want to leave me. If I change from now on, I'll treat you well. I won't do anything out of line again. Could you? Perhaps remembering that vow never to take an ex back. Her face slowly reddened. Could we get back together? I'm sorry. It was all my fault before. Hearing that, my eyes widened instantly. I thought she'd been possessed. I knew this was completely out of character for her. So I asked her, who put you up to this? My friends. After I broke up with you, they all said I'd gone too far. They said if I wanted you back, I had to swallow my pride. So, will you get back together with me? I'm a much better catch than those blind dates of yours. That boss of yours from the other day. She looks like some boring corporate type. All she'd do is talk shop with you every day. We've already spent 3 years learning each other. We're the best match. How did you get the owner to agree to this stunt? I bought his bar. I'm the owner now. Do you like this place? If you do, it's yours. I drained the last sip in my glass. I gathered my things and stood up. No, thank you for the offer. The song was beautiful, but getting back together is out of the question. The moment I finished speaking, Ningbing's face instantly turned icy. Why? Looking at her, I smiled. Because I never take an ex back. To get away from Ningbing's harassment, I volunteered for a business trip to another city for a week. The negotiations were nearly complete. During the final dinner, the way one of the other company's executives looked at me made me deeply uncomfortable. In the private dining room, she nodded boldly, while repeatedly asking me, Fang, how old are you? I did my best to suppress my irritation. 27. No girlfriend. Been too busy building your career? As she spoke, she gave a sleazy laugh and edged closer to me. She even offered to read my palm. I brushed her off. I met plenty of people like her. They think young people will put up with anything for a business deal. But this was indeed a major project, so I could only play along. As I sat there suffering, desperate to leave, my phone rang. It was Shang Xinci. Having dinner? Why is it so noisy? I messaged your supervisor. If you're done eating, leave. I didn't want to stay any longer either, but I didn't expect this woman to be such a terrible drunk. After a few bottles, she started making a drunken scene. She insisted on dragging me into conversation. Ambition is a good thing, but hard work alone won't always get you anywhere. There are plenty of shortcuts in this world. My company has a few more projects. Come to my room later, and we'll discuss them. With that, she handed me a room key. The stench of alcohol made me hold my breath. I forcefully pushed the key card back. Ms. Zhang, I'm only a participant in this project. You can discuss it with my supervisor. The moment she heard that, she flew into a rage. She grabbed my collar. You're only a department manager. What makes you so damn special? Do you think my position isn't high enough? Who do you think you are? How dare you look down on me? She was shouting so loudly. My ears could barely take it. My neck also hurt from her grip. It wasn't until the vice president gestured to me that I came to my senses and immediately ran out. Once outside, I looked down and saw the call was still connected. When I put the phone back to my ear, Shang Xinci didn't come for me. She only said one thing. Wait for me. The business trip wasn't that far away, but it was still over 3 hours by car. Shang Xinci was always busy with work. I thought she'd video call me, comfort me, or send someone to take my place. Back at the hotel, I wanted to sleep, but I couldn't fall asleep. In the darkness, I didn't turn on the lights. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling. It was nothing, really. I'd long been used to things like this. My family couldn't support me, after all. When I was in college, I had to take out student loans. I earned my living expenses through part-time jobs from dawn till dusk. Back then, my bosses exploited me, and all I could do was endure it. But compared to before, at least now I can fight back. Time slowly passed, but Shang Xinci still hadn't sent a message. I could only set down my phone, turn over, and smile bitterly. Even now, I still clung to such foolish hope. Maybe my mother and I are cut from the same cloth. Since the day I was born, I rarely saw my father. He squandered money and never stayed home. He was always chasing other women. Even when he came home occasionally, it was only to demand money. Whenever my mother refused to give him any, he beat both her and me. Ever since I was old enough to understand, I begged my mother to divorce him. Every time, she'd cry and say she wanted me to have a complete family, then refuse to leave him no matter what. At first, I didn't understand. Later, I learned. She was the one who didn't want a divorce. She was only using me as an excuse. Whenever she caught my father with another woman, she'd throw tantrums and roll around on the floor. She'd even hold a rope and threaten to die with him. But when my father truly tried to leave, she'd lose her nerve. She'd kneel on the floor, weeping, clinging to his legs and begging him not to go. I'd known since childhood that no one was reliable. If I wanted something, I had to rely on myself. I won't get back together with Ningbing, because I know her nature won't change. No matter how sweetly she talks now, she'll never truly settle down. And I won't repeat my mother's tragedy. As for Xinci, even I didn't know whether I truly liked her. I'd hidden who I was to get close to her, to attract her. But I knew full well that feelings built this way were false. So, for once, I was truly lost. Was this really what I wanted? As my thoughts ran wild, the doorbell rang. When I opened the door, Xinci stood there in a change of clothes, showing none of the exhaustion from driving through the night for hours. I've made it clear to that company that this partnership is cancelled. The person who yelled at you has been fired. I guarantee she won't find work in this industry again. She didn't hug me to comfort me, nor did she say anything sweet. Instead, she checked the time. There are 3 hours until dawn. Tomorrow's event is cancelled. You can sleep until you wake naturally. I'm staying next door. Come find me anytime if you need anything. With that, she turned to leave, as though she'd rushed all this way to me, just to say those few words. Yet at that moment, my heart strangely settled. So, the instant she turned away, I grabbed her. Then I lowered my head, cupped the back of her head, and kissed her. Afterward, I looked at Xinci's startled face and smiled. Xinci, let's be together. Being with Xinci felt completely different from being with Ningbing. She wasn't the type to whisper sweet nothings, but her actions showed her care in every way. Whenever I had trouble at work, her first instinct was never to comfort me, but to offer a solution. The problems I told her about often disappeared by the next day. She didn't constantly tell me she missed me, but even if I came back late at night, on the last flight, she'd be waiting for me at the airport. That was how I experienced a happiness I'd never known before. Yet the happier I was, the more afraid I became. I began to fear that she'd discover who I really was, that she wouldn't like the real me. After overthinking everything, and with the changing seasons, I finally fell ill. After taking sick leave, I holed up at home alone, half delirious with fever. I thought I heard the doorbell ring. At first, I thought I was dreaming, but it rang several more times. So I forced my eyes open and staggered over to open the door. Xinci was standing outside. She held an insulated food container in her left hand and a bag of medicine in her right. I heard you're sick. As she spoke, she walked over to the dining table. You can't take medicine on an empty stomach. Have some porridge first. I didn't know what you liked, so I bought one of every kind. Then, she reached out and felt my forehead, then pressed her forehead against mine. What symptoms do you have? Did you catch a chill, or is it a viral cold? I got chilled. Probably just a cold from getting chilled. She sat on the couch and began taking out each medicine. With every box, she unfolded the instructions and read them carefully. I stared at her blankly. I remembered when we first met. She'd been just like this, frowning over a report during a meeting. Back then, I sat at the far end of the room from her. But now, she was frowning over a tiny medicine leaflet right in front of me, so vivid and real. Suddenly, my heart gave a violent thud. I thought, I'm a goner this time. My mind was a complete mess, and I couldn't stop myself from moving closer to Xinci. I pressed myself against her. She wrapped her arms around me first, then covered me with a towel blanket. Do you feel awful? What should I do? Xinci, I think I'm falling for you more and more. Didn't you like me before? No, it's just, I can't put that feeling into words. I've always been terrified of relationships. I'm afraid of losing control. I'm afraid I'll become like my mother. But now, it doesn't seem so bad. After taking the medicine, I fell into a deep sleep. When I woke again, I was drenched in sweat, but the pressure in my head seemed to suddenly lift. So, I got out of bed and happily went to find Xinci. I wanted to tell her I seemed to be better, but the next second, as soon as I reached the study, I saw her standing there, expressionless. She held the notebook where I'd recorded information about her. She had already read through half of it. Neither of us said a word. We stared at each other in silence. Then, Xinci left. She didn't get angry. She didn't argue with me either. She simply said nothing and never looked at me again. I stood dumbly in the hallway, wanting to call after her, but no sound came out. My heart felt hollow and cold. 2 days later, I recovered and returned to work. I worked late as usual and went to get coffee in the break room, but I never ran into Xinci again. When she wanted to avoid me, I truly couldn't see her. There were no more messages on WeChat either. It was as though she'd forgotten me completely. Sometimes, I tried to find comfort in the misery and thought, at least she didn't fire me. She really keeps business and personal matters separate. Other times, I grit my teeth, thinking it'd be better if she took personal revenge at work. Anything would be better than this indifference. But I didn't go looking for her again. After all, she caught me red-handed. What was left to say? Given everything Xinci had going for her, the people who long had their sights set on her could line up all the way to France. I only succeeded because every advantage fell into place. So, I returned to my old routine. I went to work alone and left work alone. It had never seemed like much before, but after getting used to being with someone, being single again, couldn't help but feel lonely. Somehow, by Ningbing, also learned that we'd broken up. She began relentlessly pursuing me. After she cornered me outside my home again, I couldn't help sighing. What exactly do you want? I've already told you. I'm not getting back together with you. You're single now anyway. You're single either way. Why not give us another try? How am I any worse than that Shang woman? Look at my face. Money. I've got plenty of that too. Whatever she can give you, I can give you too. Why are you so hung up on her? I couldn't be bothered to say more. I said impatiently, I like her. What's it to you? At that, Ningbing laughed. You like her? As she laughed, she leaned closer, her face full of mockery. But, does she like you? She only likes the version of you that you pretended to be. But I'm not like her. I like you exactly as you are now. She's nothing like you. Is a relationship built on pretending even worth having? That last sentence struck me to the core. She was right. Things between Xinci and me had only progressed because of my pretense. But my feelings for her were real. Still, Ningbing was right. What difference did that make? Xinci would never like me again. Someone as exceptional as her had been deceived by me. Maybe she'd see it as a humiliation she'd never live down. At that thought, I fell silent. Seeing that I said nothing, Ningbing kept trying to persuade me. Fang Yuan, we're the ones meant to be together. Hearing that, I opened my mouth, just as I was about to answer. Suddenly, my phone rang. I looked down. It was a WeChat message from Xinci. Are you free? I'll come pick you up shortly. Let's meet. When I saw the message, I abruptly looked up at Ningbing. No. What? Looking into her eyes, I repeated myself seriously, word by word. I said, I don't want to get back together with you. I don't like you, and I won't settle anymore. With that, I immediately drove to the address Xinci gave me. After several days apart, she hadn't changed much. I didn't know what to say, so I could only stay silent with her. Until Xinci spoke first. Those methods you used on me, have you done them for anyone else? I thought she'd first demand to know why I deceived her, but unexpectedly, that was what she asked first. So, it took me a while to understand. No, I really haven't. Not even with Ningbing. I never put this much effort into learning what she liked. At that, Xinci's expression softened slightly. Under her steady gaze, I nervously clenched my fingers. I'm sorry I deceived you. I know you have every right to be angry. If you never want to see me again, I can resign. Just when I thought she'd agree with me, Xinci paused instead. Then she fixed her eyes on me. That's not why I came. I've been thinking these past few days. I really do like you. Even after learning you deceived me, I still like you very much. But a relationship built on pretense won't last. I like you. The you who never gives in, no matter what hardship you face. The you who's always had a clear plan for your life. The you who knows what you want and never lets outside things sway you. I like the you who shares my ambitions and values. I've always believed that when two people are together, sharing the same values matters more than sharing the same hobbies. We're not only lovers, we're friends and partners who'll face life side by side. We have the same road ahead of us, instead of drifting farther apart, until we go our separate ways. After saying all that, she smiled at me. I like you very much. I hope neither of us will pretend anymore. I want to be with you forever. By then, I was completely stunned. I had so much I wanted to say, but when I opened my mouth, not a single word came out. No one had ever chosen me without hesitation. Everything I'd lived through growing up made me never place any hope in love. So I habitually used schemes and techniques to win affection. I thought there was nothing wrong with that. After all, there are so many people in this world who simply settle for each other and live as partners. Everyone says true love exists, but no one has ever seen it. I thought I would be the same. But then someone saw through my facade and told me she liked the real me. She said that with her, I would never have to pretend again. She was different from Ningbing. If I treated her the way I had treated Ningbing, it would be an insult. At that thought, my mind churned violently. Faced with Shang Xinci's hopeful eyes, all I could do was nod blankly. Okay, I promise. Shang Xinci's smile widened. Then I forgive you. And so, Shang Xinci and I began building a real relationship. I stopped studying her preferences, and we gradually learned to adjust to each other. I no longer made a point of watching movies she liked. After dinner each night, Shang Xinci and I would curl up on the sofa to watch the horror movies I liked. She looked calm on the surface, but that night, when she went to sleep, she had a nightmare. After waking in fright, she held me silently for a long time. Only when I was nearly asleep did she whisper, "Baby, can we stop watching horror movies?" I stopped drinking red wine too. Instead, I took her to little roadside restaurants for Chinese white liquor. Shang Xinci was not much of a drinker. Every time, she would choke and turn bright red. She would keep coughing too. I just sat there laughing at her. She looked embarrassed and annoyed. But then I discovered that she had secretly bought lots of white liquor to build up her tolerance at home. As for Ningbing, she went home. She did not keep bothering me. I heard she had gone back to take over her family's business, fighting bitterly with the people in her family. At the start of March, I proposed to Shang Xinci. She said she wanted to marry me as soon as possible, and I did not want to wait either. Somehow, Ningbing heard the news. She insisted on meeting me to talk. In the end, we met halfway up a mountain. The sea stretched below us. Ningbing leaned against the railing and handed me a can of soda. After taking a sip with her head tilted back, she shot a jealous glance at the diamond ring on my finger. "How long have you two even been together? And you're already engaged. When you're with the right person, you do not need to wait long." Ningbing gave a derisive laugh, then fell silent. She stared out at the sea for a long while before speaking. "Fang Yuan, what am I supposed to do? You used me like that, then tossed me aside once you got tired of me. Now you're happy and fulfilled. But what about me? So many people like you. What is there to worry about? Are you really worried you will not find someone?" As I spoke, I grinned and gave her a playful pat. When she did not smile, I pulled my hand back. "Ningbing, you do not really like me either. If you truly liked me, when we were together, you would not have kept betraying me. You have just never been dumped before. You cannot accept that I was the one who ended things first." Before I left, I handed the drink back to her. "I hope you find happiness. This time, I truly mean it." I had already walked far away when, suddenly, Ningbing called out behind me, "But Fang Yuan, I really do like you." I did not stop walking. With my back to her, I simply waved. Then I kept walking. Just then, my phone rang. It was a message from Shang Xinci. "I can hold my liquor now. Tonight, we settle this at the barbecue stand downstairs." I could not help smiling. I typed back, "Okay. Whoever passes out first is a loser." In the distance, the sky was vast above the open sea. Sunlight broke through the clouds. I thought, spring had truly arrived.